Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Star Wars Meg, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you 7 things which only the true die-hard Star Wars fans know. It's absolutely no secret that Star Wars fans, or at least some Star Wars fans, take the franchise extremely seriously, and I consider myself a fan who knows quite a lot about the ins and outs of the Star Wars universe, and so I simplified it down to a list of 7 things which I believe only really serious fans of Star Wars know about. This list will include things from across the Skywalker Saga, so it's not just focused on the original trilogy or the prequels, the sequels. I've tried to do an even mix, which includes Clone Wars and some extra material as well. So without much further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start off with a really cool thing from the original Star Wars film 1977's A New Hope. And this one concerns protocol droids, which is what C-3PO is. And the fact is that he's not the only protocol droid on screen. If you look really closely at that opening shot, C-3PO and R2-D2 are walking towards the camera, but right behind them there's another protocol droid who's slightly lighter in shade to C-3PO, and this one is called U-3PO. U-3PO is very similar to the Phantom Menace's TC-14 protocol droid in terms of appearance, and we never really see them again after that opening shot, but only Star Wars die-hard fans know the name of this droid and the fact that he was meant to play a more significant role in Star Wars. However, it was decided that C-3PO was an entertaining character in and of himself, and to take focus away from him would be to take away from the focus of him and R2-D2 being the protagonist droids in the original trilogy, and so Lucas decided not to go with it in the end. We now move on to fact number 2, which is very fascinating, and it concerns Han Solo and Princess Leia. As you know from the sequel trilogy and from, recent canon, Kylo Ren is their child. But this was not always the case. In Legends, Han Solo married Leia and they had 3 children, twins which were called Jason and Jaina, a younger son named Anakin Solo. And interestingly, Luke Skywalker in the Legends version of the twins reestablishes the Jedi Order and marries a non-movie red-headed force wielder who was called Mara Jade, and they had a son, Ben Skywalker. It's believed that J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm used the Legends material to kind of combine them into one central protagonist called Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren when he was on the dark side. So now we move on to fact number 3, which is about Yoda. Only die-hard fans know that Yoda species doesn't actually have a name. It's been a mystery, and Lucas, when he first introduced the character in 1980's The Empire Strikes Back, said that Yoda is not supposed to have a backstory or a species name or a language or a home planet. He just comes in and out just like the Force. The mystery around the character was supposed to be the essence of Yoda. But obviously as the franchise built and developed and Disney introduced Baby Yoda into the franchise, or rather the child, in The Mandalorian, there's more and more speculation over who Yoda's species were, where they're from, and we will probably get that in The Mandalorian Season 2. The next fact that only die-hard Star Wars fans know is that the Wampa that we see in The Empire Strikes Back is a female. That's right, she's female. There's not much else to say about it, it's just quite a cool fact. Our next fact concerns the time of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Episodes 2 and 3, and this one concerns Luminara Unduli. And in case you're trying to work out who she is the Miralian Jedi Master, and the fact is that she actually had an apprentice called Barriss Offee. If you know the Clone Wars very well, you'll know all about her. Those two actually were from the same species, and both female Jedi had a very strong connection to each other, and they could actually feel the Force flowing through both of them as they were fighting. So interestingly, even though the sequel trilogy introduces this dyad in the Force between Kylo Ren and Rey, it's not actually new in Star Wars generally, and you could make the argument that Barriss Offee and Luminaria Unduli also shared this feature. Our next fact is about Luke Skywalker, and we return to the original trilogy for this. Actually, in Return of the Jedi, originally Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, asked George Lucas if Luke could actually give in to the Emperor and turn to the dark side. He wanted Star Wars to end on a dark note. I've actually made an entire video about this, so please go check it out. And George Lucas said, remember that Star Wars is made for kids and that it has to have a positive ending. But could you imagine what it would have been like if Luke had turned to the dark side, and what kind of a sequel trilogy we would have gotten? I think that's a pretty cool thing. And finally, guys, our last fact is about Yoda himself once more. And this is that Yoda was almost played by a monkey. When Lucas decided to design Yoda, he had absolutely no idea how to portray the character. He needed to be goofy, he needed to be funny, but wise and knowledgeable with the Force. The design eventually came from a mixture of a frog and Lucas's imagination, but originally Yoda was meant to be played by a monkey. So that's the video, guys. Those are 7 facts that only true die-hard Star Wars fans know. I will make a sequel to this video because there are way too many facts out there which I think are really cool to know about. So please subscribe to my channel if you're new, hit like down below, check out my content, hit the alert bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. I'm very consistent on this channel. Have a great rest of the day no matter where you are in the galaxy, and I will see you next time. I'm Star Wars Meg.